Good morning, everyone. Great day to have a wonderful guest with us. We have Asheesh Raina, who's the Vice President of Growth Intelligence at Genpact, and he's here to talk to us about how to maximize sales intelligence and revenue growth. Ashish, the drop dialogues are intended for educating our users and customers with the best practices from industry leaders like you. With that, give us a quick update about yourself, Sashish.
As you rightly suggested, I am part of Genpact at this point in time, and there is an entity called Growth Intelligence Unit that I manage. Prior to this, a quick touch base, I worked with Accenture in the same capacity for one of the top platform practice. And even before Accenture, I was part of Gartner. Uh, I was a research director. I managed some technology areas, platforms. Now, this amalgamation is what is helping us to be where we are. We are using drop just to set the premises, and it has to be used very judiciously. And you rightly suggested that it has to be somewhere aligned with the revenue growth. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes very cosmetic. Sometimes we get questioned why we are even using it, or for that matter, other secondary research platforms as well. So, what we have done in our organization is we are totally aligning with the organizational mandate, which is the revenue growth. And how do we enable that through secondary researches where your drop dialect and some of the peripheral information platforms comes into picture? Now, it's a very complex thing. It's not a easy. And having worked with multiple organizations, I know that we have never been able to nail it fully. However,
Yep.
what we have done is, we try to configure with respect to the sales life cycle is again across multiple things, and each has a different theme. Right from the discovery, when there is a whole lot of ambiguity, there is data, there is information, but it has to take a shape, and that is where our journey begins. To the point till we see a qualified conversations, we move to next level, we see what more is required. There probably is a comp intel. We have to displace competitors to the point where there is a pricing intelligence required because we want to be a sharp, and eventually it has to translate into a deal win for us. Now that's a very top level deal cycle, and of course everything will not be immediately corroborated with the revenue. These sales life cycles are pretty long, sometimes 3 quarters, 4 quarters, even years. But our the correlation begins with the degree of influence. That each stage, what is the influence that we are able to bring as a team, as a growth intelligence unit? How we are able to bring that, right from discovering the right set of information to maneuvering it to the next level where it takes a shape, to the level we are able to displace competitors, to the level we are able to conclude that as a win by heightening the winning quotient. So this is in a nutshell how we align ourselves with the organizational revenue mandates. But again, as I said, much difficult to do. So there has to be some frameworks, there has to be doctrine, do's and don't, and some in principle, the corrections that we keep on improvising over a time.
I think you set the context really, really well, Ashish. Sales intelligence is not a one-time thing.
Yes,
It has to be ingrained into every process of your commercial life cycle.
absolutely,
It has to be ingrained into every decision and a workflow that you're going to be involved into. I think
absolutely.
you put it really, really beautiful. But at the end of the day, people are still going to ask us, as you said very well, what is the value?
That's right.
Right? So one of the questions that we always come to is, okay, in every stage you need to anticipate what is the customer requirement,
Absolutely.
and at the end of the stages you are going to talk about how am I going to deliver this to the customer, right? So it's not like where you made a decision, okay, this is my customer, this is my ICP, and I'm going to go after without any intelligence. That
Mhm.
intelligence is going to percolate throughout that value cycle, right? So tell us a little bit more about how do you map all this intelligence throughout your process?
So that's a good pertinent question, and there's a question we keep asking ourselves almost every day when we wake up: that how we are going to make a difference to our people. By people, I mean client-facing reps. Um, their work is to stay as much as possible with the client side. Now, the next best thing for them is to have lots and loads of intelligence. Now we are sitting in a time uh, where there's a overload of information. It could be through mobile, websites, generative AI, people. Everything has some nuggets of information. Now, the challenge for us is to distill the credible information, connect the dots, and pass it to our people to whom it will make sense. A very common reference which I give to myself, to our team, to our people is think about edge computing. Now, what edge
Mm.
computing does is it does analysis at a source side. It doesn't pass the information for somebody else to interpret, and that is what
Correct.
we try to do ourselves. So we have a whole lot of information, thankfully from
Mm.
a platform as well, which is very credible. We combine that with the primary intelligence that we have while walking the beats. So overall, it
Yeah.
becomes very powerful. Uh, the art here is to connect the dots. The art here is to connect the dots, uh, triangulate the information, make it credible, make it analytical, and then only pass information that makes sense. It should be a recommendation based. It should generate certain action, and then our success directly correlates with it. The moment we send something, moment we share something which is like a lump of information, it's the purpose. Then they might as well do it themselves.
So I think there somewhere, when you're trying to convince them, you need to tell them, hey, how this impacts directly with their revenue, right? There's a lot of intelligence, as you said, you need to kind of take it, make it credible, make it actionable. But at the same time, when you want to win the trust of the account executive or an account manager or a senior executive who's trying to, pursue those leads or pursue those opportunities, they're going to say, what does that mean to us from the revenue perspective, right? How do you take your intelligence and make it trustworthy and exciting for someone to take it and action it, Ashish?
That's right. Yeah, it's a good question once again. I mean, I would say we are semi amused when we get asked these questions because the nature of work is we are not client facing. We sit at the back end. We do a lot of intelligence. Now, allow me a bit of distraction because it is important we understand. These distractions come from my old experience when we were kind of still in college, and I asked my mentor that what do we mean by specialization? Now that we are doing it, and I was hoping for a very long answer, by the way. So he said specialization means knowing more and more about little and little. Now that has stayed with us. Now, that time it was just a verbatim, but now, being part of Growth Intelligence Unit, I realize this is the degree of influence that we bring to people. When we tell them that we get to know more and more about little and little, the absolute L3 level of granularity, which probably would not be available elsewhere, or it would be, but then you have to really get a lot of data, structured, unstructured, going miles back in the time frames, collecting it,
Yeah.
making a sense of it, and then something may not come out. Now when we do it in a faster time,
Mm.
in an accelerated manner, we do it in a credible manner. By credible I mean, um, credibility gets established over a period of time when every time we give them something to chew on, something which
Mm.
directly translates into a qualified or unqualified opportunities, but opportunities that can be tied, if not immediately, maybe in couple of quarters, to revenue. The credibility gets established. So, which means we are giving them the right information. Of course, we are not personally developing it. We are using, intelligence platform. We are using the help of our partners, including you. Then credibility gets established over a time, and then that is the information which they don't get most of the times, quickly, and they are in the dark, because they are seeing what they are uh, able to see in a very limited space. But when we do this kind of intelligence and bring it to them, we collaborate. It makes a lot of revenue. I would say revenue for the sake of it, but it makes a lot of monetizable opportunity conversations for them.
So I think, in essence, what you're saying, Aish, is everybody is fascinated with hyper personalization of intelligence for the prospects and customers.
Yeah,
What you are saying is you need to do the same thing for your internal stakeholders also,
absolutely.
because many times they can't actually consume everything that you're going to throw at them.
Yeah,
You need to kind of hyper personalize some of these insights so that they can align with their next steps or the short term goals.
that's right.
Is
That's
that
right.
what
Yeah,
I'm hearing?
that's right. I mean, come to think of, uh, you know, little bit of math here. Our the client facing reps or the BDs, um, they have a lot of work in their hand. They have to keep meeting the client. They have to manage relationships. They do a lot. Now, the real estate in their mind is limited. I cannot keep on supplying them infinite information. I can only supply, or I should rather, my goal is to supply them with the information they must know, and that should translate into something which is tangible in nature. And of course, these are our internal stakeholders. But having said that, it's a collective effort by the end of the day. Their success immediately translates into our success, and vice versa. The more better job I do of mining the intelligence and passing on to them, the better they, and the vice versa. The more successful they are, the more they consume from us.
Absolutely. So on that hyper personalization
Sorry.
kind of a topic, it kind of
Hmm.
changing a gear a little bit on the hyper
Yeah, yeah.
personalization.
Sorry, I didn't.
Shish, the one of the challenges that we are hearing is with the hyper personalization, especially with your prospects and customers,
Mhm.
is with the privacy laws that are coming in.
Correct, correct. Yeah,
Oftentimes, customers are saying that, hey, you are saying that, hey, I can't do this in specific region. I can do this in specific region. How do you kind of manage that kind of a dynamics? And that is also changing all the time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. My apologies. The hyper personalization point. I wanted to continue with this one, but I just kind of missed it. Uh,
Sure.
but yeah, that is the most important part, because what happens, the organizations have different maturity levels, and no two organization, despite being in the same region probably, or having the same nature of work, will be alike. The maturity levels are different. So hyper personalization is definitely required in terms of what appetite is to consume from any of the organization, any of the supplier side. But at the same time, it doesn't come easy. One, from the compliance purpose, there is a GDPR, there are a lot of other compliances, and I think the most important part here is, of course, we have to be very sensitive about it. Combination of a human
Mm,
and a system. So in system we have compliances, layers in
mm,
place where we would not get into the confidentiality part of our clients, or even the prospects, or for anyone, for their financials, for their personal identifiers, or anything else. And also, the human part is because we always get tempted to do that, or
mm.
to sometimes to even stalk a person and see what are happening in their privacy life. But we train ourselves, as an organization, we train ourselves to stay away from that kind of a temptation. And to come to think of it, the moment I cross the compliance, or moment I get into the personal identifiers layer, it becomes misleading, because then I'm not doing the right work. My or our collective work is to look for the organization, their dynamic, their insights, their goals, and to align with it. At no point in time, organization is an individual. So we kind of train ourselves, and then we also have peers, and then we also have the best practices where we do not cross the boundaries. But yes, we stay within the ambit of the compliance.
Yeah, yeah, but in this world, it is becoming increasingly important, right, Ashish? And can you think of an example that you can share that you actually thought like, wow, this is something that we need to deal with it, and what you have done, and at the same time, it helped you to kind of engage with your prospect or a customer, or your BD has come back and said, hey, Ashish, that really worked. Is there an example that you can share with us?
Yeah, there are. I mean, these are part of our daily routine. I mean,
Okay.
the law of averages suggests that we hit the bullseye, more than 50% of the time. Now, I don't know what example to cite, but let me give you what excites people. What excites our organization, or any organization for that matter, is when you are able to make an intelligent extrapolation. Um, Now, I will not go too much back in the time, but our current macro environment at this point in time is having the tariff concerns over there. A lot of talk about it. There was some particular verticals that got tariffed. 30%, 40%, 50% regional tariffs, and all those things that were happening, and all. Then there was concerns. There still are concerns about the services part getting tariffed and all. Now there is a whole lot of dilemma. There is a whole lot of ambiguity once again. So what excites our people is to make way through an intelligent extrapolation once again. That what
Yeah.
it mean, and if we are able to articulate articulate
Uh-huh.
in an intelligent way to our clients that how to maneuver through these tariff topics, what in case anything gets tariff that we are part of engagement this point in time, what we should be
Mm,
doing, the bypasses or the best way
mm.
to mitigate it, and in fact the best way to leverage it. So
Yeah.
once again, I don't know, there is an industry word for it, but the nearest I can call it is a intelligent extrapolation of the client dynamics with respect to the macro environment is what excites them, and this is what we do, and our clients love us for that.
So basically, you're not only leveraging that insights for your internal, you are also in a many ways educating your customers.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Is that-
yeah,
That's a big
that's right.
value there.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
That's a value part of it because what happens is eventually the nature of work we are heavily
Yeah,
reliant on alignment with our clients. Um,
sure.
Unless until we don't do that, then it becomes a very difficult proposition for them also. I think now we are in a world where we are in a third generation of outsourcing. It is not even a first or second. Expectations are high, stakes are high, and clients want us to be a trusted partner, which we are. And what does trusted partner do? The trusted partner does the same thing what we do: give them intelligent advices, show them the way we see it and what they see it, uh, have the common shared goals, and this all comes from being intelligent. Having that information and making use of it in an intelligent way for collective gain along with the client. Otherwise, this information internally will die. It has to at some point in time connect to our clients.
Absolutely. Okay. So now moving on to a most interesting and topic of the decade or probably the century is how AI is transforming our world, right, Ashish?
Yeah,
I think we always talk about this. I don't think that there is any article that you and I read that doesn't have some form of AI in it.
absolutely.
Uh, so tell us maybe a specific question.
Mhm.
How, in your perspective, I mean, you've been in this industry for a long time, right? Intelligence and helping organizations to grow through insights and value is not something new for you. You have seen this evolve in multiple ways. So, from your perspective, how is AI helping in prioritizing, high value opportunities more, much better than the traditional models? Can you share some thoughts with us on that?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a topic of a decade, maybe more. Um, yeah, I think it is so omnipresent uh, that hardly anything is uh, thinkable without AI being embedded or being a routine part of us. Now, specifically with respect to client, what is happening with the AI is, first of all, the expectations in terms of turnaround time have reduced. Conventionally, if we would do something in a 3 days, 4 days, now expectation is with the client and internally and with ourselves as well that it should be done in couple of hours, and it should be immaculate. The quality should be high. And I remember when AI just emerged, we used to speak about hallucination and all, but I no longer. I don't think so. It has hallucinates as much as it used to earlier. But now, the value to the client is if we augment that with our experiences.
Right.
Because AI, what it does is it has LLMs at the backdrop. It
Yep.
learns like a baby, and so we also have our own proprietary babies, which kind of
You are the industry leader, Ashish. You have to have your own proprietary babies.
yeah, yeah. So they're quite in a same analogy. They are adults now,
Yeah.
so they are doing pretty well. But now
Mm.
now the now the expectation is again the augmentation. AI and human combined together. The turnaround times, the accelerated deliveries, information with a high quality check, and sometimes even unthinkable things. I remember, many years back, we used to think about structured data, unstructured data, um, large data, getting them together. It used to be quite a nightmare, but now it is done pretty fast. It is done very accurate. We are able to do so many things. Combining the sentiments, combining the structured data, making a pattern to unstructured data, and the client is expecting it. They don't get amused even. It is something they want us to do it. And having said that, yes, AI is again in every part of us. Degree of automation and degree of things that we never thought before could have been done. We are trying to push that, collectively along with the client internally, and everything has pressed manner.
So, Ashish, that kind of brings up to another topic, right? As people who are actually watching this will be very, very curious about how an industry leader like you has evolved. So, what is your tech stack today to automate a lot of these processes that you just mentioned? Whatever you can share,
Yeah,
Ashish.
yeah. No, uh, it's a it's kind of a very visionary question, if you ask me. And Genpact does have a blueprint around it. We have evolved pretty fast, I think, in the last 1.5 year. I'm not a spokesperson for Genpact, but being experiencing it, I mean, we got into that technology wave pretty fast, specifically riding the AI. So much so that we talk about service as an agentic AI, providing to multiple verticals through agentic AI. Now, that is a degree, it requires a confidence. That is a degree of confidence we have at this point in time. And, how as an organization we have evolved is, um, when we started off a couple of years back, we used to work with some of our partners. They were chosen ones, and or the vice versa, basis our business expertise, basis our domain expertise. Uh, we started around 10 to 12, and within a year or so, or 2 years, we have ramped them to 40 plus. So you can imagine, how this has really evolved. The tech stack
Right.
and the partnership stack, it has evolved from 10 to 40. I mean, it's a massive growth, and it is not one way. Uh,
Mm.
they want us for our expertise, and we also provide them the value in return, that how it can be collectively applied to our clients and how they can make a lot of it. So our tech stack, obviously, without getting into the granularities, have really evolved maybe 3 to 4 times what we would have seen in 2 years. So quite a drastic change. Our vision, for the Genpact vision, which our new CEO has laid off, is quite fantastic. In fact, something which we say is, use yourself before even putting into production with the clients. So we are a test bed. We experiment ourselves a lot. We think a lot. We ideate a lot, and unless until we are really confident of putting that into production, we don't do that. But again, to your point, we have grown maybe 3 to 4 times in our partnership next stack usage per se.
Wonderful. So what you're saying is like you are not only helping your customers in their AI transformation, you are transforming first before you actually take it to your customers. Is that
Yeah, that's right.
how you
That's what.
do everything?
Yeah, that's how our
Wonderful.
CEO, BK, has laid out for us. And
Wonderful.
yeah,
So let's, I know we are coming to that end point, Ashish. It's been incredible discussion and discussing with you, but I have one
yeah, yeah.
very quick, I want some quick answers on these
Okay.
questions. We call them as rapid fire questions, right? So tell us, what's more powerful? Is it customer insights or the competitive intelligence? If you want to choose only one of them, which will you choose?
I have to give explanation, or I can just choose, or I can do both.
One word answer.
Uh,
You can give explanations.
no, I think there is no contest. Client insights. That is what we need to
Okay.
align with from the demand side.
Okay. So what is one key skill every growth intelligence leader must have in 25 and 26 and going into 2026?
Um, I'll not call it a technology skill, but I will call it a consultative skill, which is connecting the dots. If we fail,
Connecting the dots.
then it will. It's not the way to go.
So what's that one technology that you have recently seen or observed that you are very excited about for the next 5 years?
Uh, I think we touch base with that. I'm excited. I'm scared. There are
Okay.
butterflies in my stomach, and it's agentic AI.
Isn't it?
Unfathom, Bill. I don't even know that how it will shape up. But yes, it's a
Sure.
disruption.
Agentic AI it is. So one last question. What is the most underrated KPI or a metric that you think people don't track or don't give the enough credit when you are thinking about revenue growth?
Um, there are multiple ones, but the one closer to my heart is a repeat revenue. Um,
Okay.
because maybe I would like to explain a bit.
Sure.
One time is a fluke, twice probably a
Mhm.
requirement, but when we do it consistent, repeatedly, there is a vintage
Okay.
behind it, then it really is something that you are doing exceptionally well. Even in terms of revenue, if you're getting revenue from same client for a longer duration of time, then that is really the thing that you should be tracking. And for different buying centers or from a different people, the repeatability in terms of revenue is what I feel is the most underrated. We very often ignore that.
No, this has been a wonderful conversation, Ashish. Thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts. It's not so easy uh, to come up with such a clarity that you have described today. I think our viewers are going to walk away with why, not only why it is important, but what you need to do to make it to be a continuous process, and how to better leverage the platforms, both not only to serve your customers externally, which everybody tries to focus the first, but also to leverage that internally, be the customer zero, and then take it to the market. And again, I can't thank you enough for sharing all these wonderful thoughts and best practices with us.
It's a collective success, and trust me, with you around, it has been a great journey. Without our partners, without our trusted partners, we would not have been able to accomplish what we think we are accomplishing at this point in time. So, thanks for being around, and all the best.